Hey, this is Notser, and we're going to be talking about the Royal Navy DDs. They're launching in 710. I just wanted to share every bit of thought I have on the line, recommended builds, modules, you name it. I want to talk about it so you have at least initial direction. I will be reviewing these guys, and we'll see if it is able to be released the day and date that they're launched. But I just wanted to make sure that everyone had access to the same bit of information in one concise video. The game in the background is myself in the Tier 10 Royal Navy Destroyer, Daring. We're on the map Sleeping Giants, and I really hope that this is helpful for all of you. I made a mistake in this game, and I'm not afraid to share it. I innocently believed that I had a different commander than the one that is equipped. Now, there's no indicator for radio location. Does that mean that you don't use radio location? Actually, that means I do use radio location. So my assumption was that I am using my IFHE commander. When we're testing, we can freely move commanders back and forth, and I will normally, depending on the line or trends, I will try multiple types of builds just to see how effective they are. And in my innocence, I believed I had a 19 skill commander with IFHE equipped, because clearly radio location is not on my screen, when in fact I have closer to a 12 skill commander who only has concealment. Yeah, so if for no other reason, this is a great test for those of us who don't have a 19 that's going to immediately find its way on the Daring, or even a 14 skill. You won't be able to have both level 4 skills right off the bat, similar to this scenario. So my recommended build is on the screen. This one works for pretty much every Royal Navy DD. Obviously Hydro for the ships that you can equip Hydro. Don't worry about it. If you can't equip it there, use propulsion or steering in that module slot. And this is very similar to my Gearing, Fletcher, Z52, Z46, Shimakaze. You get it. This is the build that works so great. Radio location. Radio location allows for torpedoes to be blindly sent towards a target. And I probably get a blind send kill or damage once every 3 or 4 games playing my Gearing, my Fletcher, Z52, all those DDs. So radio location is absolutely vital to get the most out of your torpedo systems, which, if I'm going to be completely honest, you usually don't get as much out of the torpedo systems for the Royal Navy because your gun systems are so effective. Now, this is where I'm blindly firing, assuming I have inertia fuse high explosive, which would allow me to do full damage to this guy, and clearly a ton of shatter. So, if you don't have IFHE, you need to fire AP with the Tier 9 and the Tier 10 with the 113 millimeters. But Hydroacoustic is going to protect me from the Shimakaze torpedoes. I don't have to worry about that. So, main armament protection. I really enjoy that, obviously. It's a standard go-to. Hydroacoustic, obviously, spoke about it. Improved gun aiming. I just value that because, I mean, you're using your guns a lot. Faster rudder shift module. Now this one, I need to explain that for Royal Navy DDs, they do not have access to the acceleration module. The reason being, they have it baked in default as a British DD. So what you end up with is either rudder shift or the lower duration of flood and fire, and I don't really care about lowering the duration of flood and fire on a DD. My damage control has a really fast recharge. That's why I take that skill. Then we've got the concealment module and improved rate of fire on my main battery. For my commander, priority target. I love priority target. It just allows you to steal free damage time. You know exactly who's targeting you, how many people are targeting you. If no one's targeting you, you can freely fire in the open. It just provides you with so much extra information to be aggressive with. Then I pick up Last Stand, Survivability Expert, and Concealment. That would be my first 10 skills if I'm going to be completely honest with all of you. I value the extra health that Survivability provides. Yeah, sure, early tier you don't get quite as much, but you get something. And every bit of health is important. It allows you to trade, be more aggressive. It's such a vitally important skill for DDs. Concealment goes without saying. Now, I think at the early stages of testing, I might have recommended or suggested that, hey, you could get by not taking concealment because these guys are so well concealed. Well, that's out the door now. They have nerfed the Daring's concealment. They've nerfed the Jutland's concealment. So you really do need concealment first skill. And then I'm going to pick up radiolocation. Yes, I'm waiting to pick that up with 4 points. Radiolocation is just so vitally important for any ship that can freely use torpedoes. It allows you to get so much free damage on targets. I probably average a kill or a blind torpedo strike once every 2 to 4 games with radiolocation. I'm not even kidding you. It is so incredibly powerful. I will send it at smoke. I will send it at an oncoming target that, potentially is going to contest the capture. Radiolocation allows you to have that information for free. You don't have to verify it. And that's why it's so potent. And that's why pretty much everyone has converted over to it. It is just so incredibly important for your torpedoes. Then I pick up basic firing training. Why basic firing training over demolition expert? Well, because you're going to be firing a significant amount of AP as well. The high explosive is fantastic, and you could absolutely go a fully dedicated high explosive build, where you go IFHE, demolition, you get the signal flags for higher fire chance, or you don't even pick up IFHE, and you're just trying to set fires on targets. There is such a high fire chance on these guns, I don't even think you need demolition expert. Instead, basic firing training is going to get me a little bit more overall damage output if I can land the shells on the target, both AP and HE, and I just love it for the Brits. And then to round out the 19 skill commander, I pick up Adrenaline Rush. I love Adrenaline Rush. It affects your main battery, it affects your torpedo reload. It is absolutely wonderful for DDs. An aggressive DD is going to take damage, and if you take damage, well, that damage is converted into extra damage output for your ship. Just a huge trait that is incredibly important, and I don't know anyone who, feels like Adrenaline Rush isn't an awesome skill. It just works, and it works very well. So that's the build, and those are the modules. I have tried to, focus on the gun systems and its ability to operate as a DD. That is my main priority when considering what to go after for the British DDs. Some players might prefer to play it purely as a torpedo boat, and that is less viable early on for the Royal Navy DDs. I think tiers 4 through 6, you have same concealment, same torpedo range, so incredibly difficult to use. But the late tiers, there's actually distance for your torpedoes, so you could potentially invest in them. I have chosen not to do that though, and the primary reason is you can't get torpedo sends quite as easy as you can in something like a Gearing, a Z-52, or a Shimakaze. The torpedo arcs are just not there, and the reload cycle is so long that by the time you invested all your skills in your torpedoes, you are giving up a lot of potential damage increase in your main battery. So that's why I focus on the main battery over the torpedoes. You can focus on your torpedoes, but you might find, as many of the testers have found, the guns are just where it's at for these guys. 360-degree turret rotation is another reason why you invest in the guns here. They just work. They work quite well. You can maneuver actively. You can be as aggressive or as passive as you would like, and it feels great. The combination of smoke, acceleration, everything about these feels wonderful and fresh, and I really like that. I like that they feel fresh. You might notice that I didn't bring up Jack Dunkirk or John Dunkirk or Bert Dunkirk, whatever the other brother is. I don't take advantage of improving the smoke billowing effect or jack of all trades. I just don't feel like those skills are appropriate for DDs. Now, they might be appropriate for other ships, but I don't really need to extend out the size of the smoke. I'm already really tiny compared to it, right? I don't need jack of all trades to lower the cooldown on these skills. Smoke already has a really fast cooldown. Damage control already has a really fast cooldown. Hydroacoustic, albeit a very long cooldown, it's still short enough that I absolutely can use it as often as I want to. And then for the heal that's available at tier 9 and tier 10, while it may be very effective, I do not see enough reason to invest in another charge of heal. Some people might argue, drop basic firing training and pick up Superintendent. Well, to me, you would only be using Superintendent for the heal, because there's so many charges of your smoke, and honestly, if you are able to use every single hydroacoustic charge, I will salute you. It just has a really long duration, a really long cooldown cycle. You have to basically use it at the very beginning of the game and every time it's available in order to use every charge of hydro. So picking up Superintendent, spending 3 points for 1 extra heal charge, that's not really super attractive to me. But that is a legitimate conversation. And if you feel like, hey, I need that extra charge of heal, or I can't afford to run premium, then Superintendent is probably a good pick for you. But the way I play, I need every ounce of damage. I like to shoot my way out of a problem. I like to kill enemy DDs before they have a chance to react. And taking basic firing training, couple that with the faster rate of fire of the main battery, that works far better, I have found, than investing in Superintendent. The only other skill that, we've talked about, hinted about its existence, is IFHE. So IFHE is not mandatory for 120 millimeters. You don't need it at all. You shouldn't take it. It's too expensive. You can easily do full damage to any DD hull and any superstructure and some probably low armored sections of cruisers and battleships. Then you get to tier 9 and tier 10 and you have 113 millimeters. And yes, it is 113, so you will fail to do damage to 19 millimeters, which is the hull armor of pretty much every DD in the game at high tier. Obviously, Kabarovsk and a couple others have their unique traits to them, the 50 millimeters. But in general, you need IFHE to do damage to the hull of DDs. And I have my reservations completely 100% without a shadow of a doubt, recommended radio location with no consideration for IFHE at tier 9 and 10 for the reason that players evolve with the game and they recognize trends. So if they see, British cruisers only have AP, well, British cruisers only having AP, it's very easy to counter that only AP. You just angle against it. And if the community universally agrees upon that as the solution against the Daring and the Jutland, well, you're going to be forced to invest in IFHE over radiolocation. I don't know that that's going to happen, but just keep in mind, we don't know how everyone is going to react to the complete introduction. We've seen testers, but if there's 1, 2, or 3 per side, you're going to catch on quick what to do. And if they do catch on, you're forced to pick up IFHE because that's the only way you'll do damage against an angled target that's that extreme. I hope this was helpful. I hope you have a wonderful day, and I'll catch you next time.